Hello, so today we're here to talk about the differences between the female and the male pelvic girdle. Um, well, first of all, what you need to know is that the pelvis is basically a the pelvis is basically a bony ring, and it's responsible for supporting the vertebrae and the lower limbs. And the way it's got its name is because it's named after a Latin phrase, which is called basin. And basin, it basically means like, it's another word for shape. And it's also the main reason why we can differentiate between the two, between the female and the male pelvic girdle. The shape, the way a pelvic girdle is shaped, the way it feels, like its texture, um, basically all its physical characteristics are what makes up like the differences between each pelvic girdle. Um, like with the female pelvic girdle, overall it's less massive than the male one. It has a more delicate overall bone structure. It has a slightly circular shape. It's sloped in the ilia bones and in the anterior iliac spines, which are more widely separated. They're wide and they have a flat sacrum, and it provides more space for the birth canal. And the pelvic basin is more spacious and it has less of a funnel shape. The pelvis also protects most of the female reproductive system, such as the ovaries, the fallopian tubes, and the uterus. And basically, like, all these go into what it looks like, and what, like, the differences between the two. Like, I know with like the male girdle, it's more of a like, it's not as wide as the female girdle because we need that space in order to deliver a baby, for the birth canal and for like the baby to go through, whereas the male doesn't have to even go through with that in the first place. The overall structure of a male pelvic girdle is more thicker, and it has more muscle into it, and the top ridges of the ilia are more vertical with the males, and like the overall structure is more rough, and it's basically not as delicate as the female pelvic girdle. And then the hole in the male ischium is more larger and rounder. Um, but unlike the female pelvic girdle, it doesn't protect its reproductive organs. The male testicles actually sit outside of the pelvic girdle, and then the cooler environment of the scrotum actually provides optimum temperature for sperm production. Um, let's see what else. The pubic arches are obviously a major difference as well. Like with the female pelvic girdle, there's a 120-degree pubic arch, whereas like the male pelvic girdle, there's a 90-degree pubic arch. And then, like I said, like the textures of the ilia, like the vertical top ridges, the coccyx. The coccyx differentiate as well. The female pelvic girdle has a straighter, more movable coccyx, whereas the male does not. They have a more narrow pelvic inlet, and basically, like, one is designed for pregnancy and the other one is not. Like, that's just the best way to put it, in my opinion. And then just like feeling it with your fingers, like if you were to actually have a pelvic girdle in your hands, if you were to feel like the texture of each one, you would know right away which one is which. So yeah, so that's all I have. So thank you.